Ron Neal here with Ron Neal Piano Service. Today we're going to talk about a very common problem for most owners of grand pianos, and that is what to do when a pen or pencil or some other object has fallen down into the grand piano and is behind the fall board here. Typically what happens is we put our music up here on the music desk along with our pens and pencils. But the problem is a lot of times those pens and pencils fall to right here. And when we go to retrieve them, if we barely put the pressure on here, there it goes, down into the piano. So now what do? We know it's in the piano, but we can't see it. We don't know how to get it out. Well, it's actually very, very simple. On most grand pianos, including this one, this is a Kawai. Let me just start by telling you that there is, 3 or 4 at least, different methods that piano manufacturers attach the fall board to the piano itself. Kawai has a fairly common method, and that is there'll be a small little screw on each side that needs to just be loosened but not completely removed in order to lift the fall board out. So what you want to do is just simply tilt the fall board forward a little bit so you can put your hand on each side and just lift straight up. And the whole thing just comes right out. And you'll see, I'm not sure if you can see this, but if you can, there's a little tab on each end. That tab actually rests into some little grooves on the left and the right side of the piano. So you take the fall board off, look inside, and there's your pen or pencil or whatever else has fallen in there. The reverse is obviously just exactly the very simple process of just doing it backwards. Simply hold it at about the same angle that you took it out, place it in to the 2 grooves on either side. I usually just get one side first and then the other side, and just simply drop it down in, and it'll just fall in on its own. There you go. If it is the kind that has the screws, then you'll want to just back those screws right back down again, and voila, you're done. Just so you are aware, there are a few different types I mentioned earlier. One of them is just like this, where there's a little screw on either side. You just need to back those out, and then you can lift this straight up. There are other ones that don't use any screws, and this is very, very common, particularly on like Yamahas and lots of other Asian pianos. And there'll be a spring on one side or the other, typically on the left side. And the only difference, you don't need to undo any screws or loosen any screws, but you simply need to rock it forward and then push a little bit with just a little bit of pressure on this side right here against the spring before you lift it up, like that, and it'll come right out. Okay? Now there's one other type that you really can't remove or do yourself, and that is typically found on Steinways and a few other particularly older models or pianos that were built quite a while ago from Mason and Hamlin and even Baldwin. Those types of fall boards are actually attached to this piece here called the cheek block, and you really cannot remove the fall board without taking the cheek block off. In those situations, I would recommend that you do not attempt to take the fall board off. It's much more difficult, and it's actually very, very easy to damage the cheek blocks by dropping them when you remove them. So that's about it. It's really a very simple process. If you have any problems, feel free to give me a call at area code 909-627-7289, and I hope this helps.